After the revolution, Marx says, a temporary dictatorship will be established, and this would consist of the leaders of the revolution. And this temporary dictatorship would affect radical changes. After this revolution, private property would be abolished. Incomes would be equalized. Everybody would make the same. The means of production would be nationalized. That means that the country, the state, the government would own all of the means of production, and that arrangement today is known as socialism. And finally, we'll move past this, and everything will be owned by the workers. And this is a system that is called today communism. It would be where the workers control everything. There would be no need for government anymore. The state dissolves. Alienation ends. Everyone's needs are satisfied for the first time in human history. There is no need for competition, for acquisitiveness, for greed, for aggression. Human nature is changed as a result of this communist revolution, and human beings are given a new consciousness. People will discover what it is to live a fully human, natural life. This, Marx says, is the end state that history has been marching toward. Now, that, in a sense, concludes the ideas of Karl Marx and Marxism. What I want to do now, I want to take a few minutes now to talk about some problems with Marxism. Marxism has not exactly delivered what it had promised. We are familiar with that. There are a number of communist countries in the world today. There have been communist revolutions, and they have not exactly delivered on what Marx had promised. So let me talk about a few problems with Marxism. One, it is too theoretical and too extreme. The communists tell us they're going to abolish private property. They're going to end the institution of marriage. They're going to do away with families. We're going to do away with nations. And we're going to concentrate power in the hands of a few, this temporary dictatorship at the beginning of a communist revolution. But that is just and this has been the problem here, that is a blueprint for totalitarianism, for an authoritarian government, and that is what has happened everywhere. In addition to this, communism justifies genocide, the killing of large numbers of human beings. The bourgeoisie must be swept away because the future benefit to humanity justifies this. Because the communists believe that we're about to usher in a golden age where all human beings will be happy and these sacrifices are necessary. Marx's ideas are revolutionary. He never considers the possibility of reform. If you go back to political thinkers like Aristotle and John Locke, they were reformers. They didn't want to sweep away everything that was there and put something new in its place. They wanted to make some changes. Communism doesn't. And the workers today in capitalist societies have pretty good lives. What altered things? Marx says they're just being made more and more miserable. That has not been the case. Workers in capitalist societies have pretty good lives. What has changed? Well, the advances in science and technology that I've talked about have recast labor in a different mode. Workers now require great technical skills and education, and this gives them a very satisfying sense of themselves and their jobs. And owners eventually came to realize that keeping wages as low as possible was bad for everyone, because many people couldn't buy their products. So it's not good for business. And if you think of the case in America, through the 19th and parts of the 20th century, we went through these different, what we call panics, recessions, even the Great Depression in the 1930s. This was the problem with all of these, is that the majority of the population simply didn't have the money to buy these products. And so workers' wages have risen steadily in the last 70 years. And so ultimately, I would say, Marxism fails to deliver. It fails to explain and it fails to achieve what its defenders promised it would do.